First, fast, accurate. You're watching WSBT 22 News at midday.
And we are following some breaking news near St. Joseph. Police just named a husband and wife found dead in their home this morning. They are Denise Bohn Stewart and her husband, Eric. Denise was currently a popular radio show host and a former WSBT 22 employee. We have also confirmed her husband, Eric, worked at the Cook Nuclear Power Plant. WSBT 22 Suzanne Spencer is live at the crime scene where all of this happened in Royalton Township. Suzanne, what can you tell us?
Bob, this is still a very active scene. Michigan State Police Crime Lab pulled up about an hour ago. They're still on scene right now, going through the house. Now, there were a lot of information we're still looking to get here, but several family members, friends have been stopping by all morning long. The couple had 3 young children together, and one of those kids called 911. That happened shortly before 7 this morning, and at this point, police tell us they are not looking for a suspect. All 3 children were home, according to police, and were not hurt. Police told us moments ago those kids are staying with friends and family today. Police would not go into detail about where the bodies were found or how close together. Police saying at this point it's not suspicious. They did not see any signs of forced entry. It's also not clear yet how the couple died.
Still under investigation. The Michigan State Police Crime Lab is en route here. They're going to process the crime scene. We'll have more information after that. Autopsies will also be planned, most likely for tomorrow in Grand Rapids. We'll definitely have more information after that.
Bohn was very well known in the Berrien County community for her work with the Susan Komen Foundation. Bohn was a breast cancer survivor. Now, in a previous interview with our correspondent up here in Berrien County, she had told him that one of the greatest accomplishments was being a mother. She had 3 young kids later on in life. She said being a mother is one of the hardest jobs in her life. And we'll, of course, stay out here and continue to bring you more updates tonight at 4, 5, and 6.
All right, Suzanne, thanks very much. Now, as we said, Denise most recently worked as a morning show radio host on the Coast 98.3, the radio station releasing this statement saying in part, quote, "We have lost a member of our family at Midwest Family Broadcasting. Rest in peace, Denise," end quote. And as also we mentioned before joining the Coast, you'll remember Denise as part of our WSBT 22 family for a number of years. She first signed on with our station in 1999, quickly becoming an award-winning reporter. In 2003, Denise decided to briefly leave the industry to raise her family. Denise returned to WSBT 22 in 2011 as a freelance reporter and an anchor. As we mentioned, Eric Stewart worked at the Cook Nuclear Power Plant, was a 28-year employee of AEP. AEP released this statement, quote, "Our thoughts and prayers are with those impacted by this terrible news, as well with all of our employees. We have made grief counselors available to our employees. We're still processing this ourselves," end quote. Stay with WSBT 22 as we continue to learn new details in this double death investigation. WSBT 22 Suzanne Spencer and Caitlin Connon right now getting new information and reaction to these deaths. We'll have that team coverage starting at 1st at 4.
First at 4, we begin with breaking news that we have been following since early this morning. A man and a woman found dead in a home near St. Joseph. Police now calling it a murder-suicide. Now, these are the people who died. 45-year-old Denise Bohn Stewart and her 51-year-old husband, Eric. Denise was a popular morning radio host on 98.3 The Coast. She also spent many years as a reporter here at WSBT 22. Her husband, Eric, worked at the Cook Nuclear Plant, and WSBT 22's Suzanne Spencer is right outside their home where all of this happened. Suzanne, a very tough day for so many people.
It is, Jennifer, for police, for family, and for neighbors all out here. They've all been talking about Denise's contagious smile, her laugh, and all of her work that she's accomplished here in the Benton Harbor and Berrien County community. They're talking about this. Everything that happened here over the past couple of days is a devastating loss. All of this started shortly before 7 this morning when one of their 3 kids called 911. When police got here, they found Denise dead in their bedroom and Eric dead in the basement with a handgun nearby. Police are doing interviews right now, knocking on doors, trying to figure out why and what happened. They said preliminary interviews revealed some marital issues and that Eric may have planned this. All 3 kids are under the age of 10 and were waiting at the door as police got on scene. They were not hurt, and police do tell us they're safe tonight with family and friends nearby. Now, the Michigan State Crime Lab is still here and has been going on for 5 hours, processing the scene, going into the house, talking to witnesses, trying to get as much information as they can. We're told that those autopsies, though, will be happening tomorrow morning in Grand Rapids about 10 o'clock. I'm headed to go talk with several neighbors who have been impacted by this crime. We'll have that story for you tonight at 5. Live in Berrien County, Suzanne Spencer, WSBT 22 News.
You know, Denise was a part of our WSBT 22 family for a number of years. She first signed on with our station back in 1999, quickly becoming an award-winning reporter. In 2003, Denise decided to briefly leave the business to raise her family. She returned to WSBT 22 in 2011 as a freelance reporter and anchor here. She often anchored WSBT 22 first in the morning Saturday. And last year, Denise made a move to radio, becoming a co-host of Denise and Johnny in the Morning on 98.3 The Coast. Our news director, John Haferkamp, said this today. The entire WSBT 22 News family is saddened by today's tragedy. Denise was not only a fellow journalist, but a friend to many of us. Denise was hardworking, caring, and loved our community. Her strong passion for life, for news, and sharing great stories will be greatly missed. Our thoughts and prayers are with her children and family, and we want to thank everyone who has reached out to us today to share a kind word about Denise or even send their sympathies. We're going to have much more on Denise's life on WSBT 22 News at 5 o'clock.
Now at 5.
A big change is in the works for some people who take public transportation locally.
It almost feels like a piece of us, but it can let people we don't want into our lives. A look at how you can prevent that.
And we have team coverage of breaking news we've been following all day. A local journalist, radio show host, and advocate killed in her home.
First, fast, accurate, with Jennifer Copeland and Rick Schutt. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 5.
A local radio host and her husband are dead in what police are now calling a murder-suicide.
Yes, 51-year-old Eric Stewart and 45-year-old Denise Bohn Stewart were found inside their home near St. Joseph early this morning. Now, Denise co-hosted the morning show on 98.3 The Coast. She was a former WSBT 22 reporter and anchor. WSBT 22 Suzanne Spencer is live in Royalton Township where all this happened. And Suzanne, I have to ask you, police believe this may have been planned.
When police got here shortly before 7 o'clock this morning, they found the couple's 3 children standing at the door. They found Denise's body upstairs in a bedroom and her husband Eric's down in the basement with a handgun lying nearby. One of their kids were the ones who called 911. Now, based on an early review of evidence, police believe Eric shot Denise sometime this morning. That's based on witnesses who heard apparent gunshots. Denise was shot multiple times in the bedroom, and they did not know how many times the husband was shot. Police believe the couple were going through some sort of marital issues, but don't know if a specific incident led up to the murder-suicide. Denise was known in the area for her work with the Susan G. Komen Foundation. She was a breast cancer survivor. Just sent an email out yesterday afternoon about an event she was running in to raise money for breast cancer awareness. All day long, we've been out here talking to people who knew and loved Denise. They say this is a huge loss for the community.
She was a nice person. She was, she was a hard worker. She was a great mother. She was a good friend. So it's just really hard to believe that something like this would happen to her after everything she's been through.
I did know the female victim personally or professionally through work, and it's a tragic loss with what happened here today.
Certainly a very tragic loss. Michigan State Police still out here, have been out here for several hours since early this morning. They're trying to piece together exactly what happened, what led up to this. They also said that they have never seen an incident like this in the area. I'm working on that story, and we'll have that for you tonight at 6. Live in Berrien County, Suzanne Spencer, WSBT 22 News.
Suzanne, thank you. Now, before joining the morning show on the coast, you may remember that Denise was part of the WSBT 22 family for a number of years. She joined our station back in 1999, quickly becoming an award-winning reporter. In 2003, Denise decided to briefly leave the industry to raise her family. Now, Denise returned to WSBT 22 in 2011 as a freelance reporter and anchor. WSBT 22 News Director John Hafferkamp released this statement today. The entire WSBT 22 News family is saddened by today's tragedy. Denise was not only a fellow journalist, but a friend to many of us. Denise was hardworking, caring, and loved our community. Her strong passion for life, for news, and sharing great stories will be greatly missed. Our thoughts and prayers are with her children and family.
Denise was also known for her work within the community, and one of her passions was the fight for breast cancer awareness. WSBT 22's Caitlin Connon is here right now. And Caitlin, I know you spoke with some of the people she worked so closely with today.
Denise's time on 98.3 The Coast made her a familiar voice, and her work with the Susan G. Komen Foundation made her a force to be reckoned with. Her co-workers agree she won't be easily replaced. Denise worked in broadcasting for 20 years, both here at WSBT 22 and at the radio station in St. Joseph. She was highly respected as both a radio host and a journalist.
She had overcome so much in her life and was really at a, I think, a high plateau from a professional standpoint.
Denise was also a breast cancer survivor. After she went into remission about 3 years ago, she worked tirelessly with the Susan G. Komen Foundation to help find a cure for the disease.
Denise was the feistiest, most driven, passionate breast cancer advocate that I have ever met in my experience in fighting this disease.
When she would get behind something, she would make it happen. She was a doer. And had the respect of the entire community.
For the people who witnessed that passion and drive, today's news was hard to hear, but they say Denise would have wanted them to keep up the good work, including the race for the cure that Denise helped organize.
We have to keep fighting to honor her legacy. And I've talked to some of her friends in Southwest, and that's what we're going to do.
I think that the right thing to do is to continue to work hard for the causes that Denise stood for and that she championed.
That race will be run in Kalamazoo on May 14th. Jennifer Juergens asked the staff if they should cancel. They said absolutely not.
Yeah, no, I couldn't see them doing that. And there have to be other plans in the works to honor her memory.
Yes, the people at Susan G. Komen and the radio station want to do something for Denise's children, but they're waiting until they can coordinate with the family.
You know, when we get that information, we'll certainly pass it along.
Of course.
Okay, Caitlin, thank you so much. Local leaders are also reacting to the news. Michigan State Senator John Prose released a statement. He says, "I was devastated this morning to learn of the news of the passing of my friend, community leader, and journalist Denise Bohn Stewart. Denise was full of love for her family, friends, and community." Michigan State Representative Al Pasholka said, "Denise Bohn was my friend for 25 years. She was a great mother, award-winning broadcaster, cancer survivor, and one of my best friends." And we have more on our website and Facebook pages. You can read more statements from those who knew and worked with Denise.
Now at 6.
Just 2 weeks until Hoosiers head to the polls. A look at how one local county is making some big changes before the primary.
And remembering one of our own, a popular journalist killed in a murder-suicide.
First, fast, accurate. With Jennifer Copeland and Rick Schutt. You're watching WSBT 22 News at 6.
A 911 call from a child leads police to a murder-suicide in St. Joseph.
Police say 51-year-old Eric Stewart killed 45-year-old Denise Bohn Stewart, then killed himself. Denise is a popular radio host and former WSBT 22 reporter. We have team coverage on this investigation. WSBT 22's Caitlin Connon gathering community reaction to those deaths.
But first, WSBT 22 Suzanne Spencer is live in Royalton Township. And Suzanne, police now revealing a possible motive.
Police found Denise's body in the upstairs of their home in their bedroom. and her husband's body, Eric's body, down in the basement with a handgun lying nearby. Now, police said that witnesses told them the couple had been having marital problems prior to this, and they also said that it's possible that Eric planned to do this. Of course, still sorting through a lot of evidence, but all day long, dozens of people showed up to show their support, asking why and how this could happen. Ridden with heartache.
I'm still in shock. It's hard to just process.
Neighbors, friends, family want to know why this could happen to a 45-year-old mother of 3, known for her spirit and smile, and fight for breast cancer awareness as a survivor.
It's just really hard to believe that something like this would happen to her after everything she's been through.
Denise, known by many, including officers on the scene.
I did know the female victim personally or professionally through work, and it's a tragic loss with what happened here today.
A phone call led police to the Stewart's home.
We have a child caller on the phone. He's advising that he's found his father. He believes he's passed away in the basement.
Hours later, police called it a murder-suicide.
You can generally determine what happened based on a scene. The when part of it is what becomes a little more difficult.
Police do think it happened sometime in the morning before the kids woke up.
Based on witness statements and things that occurred and the timeline that we've developed at this point.
But those answers aren't enough to those who knew her.
Not losing one parent, but 2 parents, and the way that they went out, it's just a terrible, terrible tragedy.
While police do think that Eric may have planned this, they're not yet saying why they believe that. Now, as for the 3 kids, they are safe. We were told by police earlier throughout the day they were not hurt at all with this. We're told again that they were with family and friends nearby. We know that Denise and the family has a lot of friends around, but again, those kids will be interviewed in the coming days to try and sort through all of this. Jennifer?
Yeah, your heart just goes out for those kids, though. And Suzanne, as you said, Denise was such a big supporter of breast cancer awareness. In fact, she was just emailing people yesterday about this.
She was, and I got an email myself about this. I mean, everyone who was out here today was talking about how she gave 100% effort to everything she did. I only worked with her for about a year, but I know many people at WSBT worked for her much longer and would reiterate those same concerns.
Yeah, many of us, such a big heart she had. Suzanne, thank you.
And as we've been reporting, Denise worked with us here at WSBT 22 for many years, but she also inspired many people in all aspects of her life. Now, WSBT 22's Caitlin Connon is at the live desk tonight. Caitlin, Denise, of course, well known for her fight against breast cancer.
Denise was a breast cancer survivor herself, so she was very passionate about that cause. She used her visibility at WSBT 22 and 98.3 The Coast to help spread the message about breast cancer awareness. When she went into remission 3 years ago, Denise joined the Susan G. Komen Foundation. She helped organize countless fundraising events and served as an advocate for other women who have been diagnosed. Denise was well respected in her personal life and in the professional world. Today's news was hard for people close to her to hear, but they say Denise would have wanted them to keep up their hard work.
We have to keep fighting to honor her legacy. And I've talked to some of her friends in Southwest, and that's what we're going to do.
I think that the right thing to do is to continue to work hard for the causes that Denise stood for and that she championed.
Denise helped organize a race for the cure in Kalamazoo next month. When Jennifer Juergens asked the staff if it should be canceled, they said absolutely not. The people at Midwest Family Broadcasting and the Susan G. Komen Foundation are hoping to do something for Denise's children. They're waiting to coordinate with the family. At the live desk, Caitlin Connon, WSBT 22 News.
All right, Caitlin, thank you. And as we mentioned, Denise was part of our WSBT 22 family for a number of years. She came here in 1999, quickly becoming an award-winning reporter. In 2003, Denise decided to briefly leave the industry to raise her family. She had that focus. She returned to WSBT 22 in 2011 as a freelance reporter and anchor. And then last year, Denise made a move to radio, becoming a co-host of Denise and Johnny in the Morning on 98.3 The Coast. WSBT 22 News Director John Hafferkamp says the entire WSBT 22 news family is saddened by today's tragedy. Denise was not only a fellow journalist, but a friend to many of us. Denise was hardworking, caring, and loved our community. Her strong passion for life, for news, and sharing great stories will be greatly missed. Our thoughts and prayers are with her children and family.
Now, Eric Stewart worked at the Cook nuclear plant and was a 28-year employee of AEP. The company released this statement. Our thoughts and prayers are with all those impacted by this terrible news, as well as with all of our employees. We have made grief counselors available to our employees. We're still processing this ourselves. And we would like to thank everyone who has reached out to us here at WSBT 22 today, expressing sympathy and sharing kind words about Denise. We're going to continue to follow this investigation, and we'll pass along the updates as we receive them.